Hello and welcome to Friday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic. Now, if I was to ask you who is the most highly rated constructor on Logic Masters Germany, I dare say a few of you would plump for either the name Fistemafel or the name Richard Stolk, two world-class constructors of the highest order. But to quote a small green Jedi, there is another that you should probably be considering, and that is Jesper. Jesper Josefsson, to give him his full name. This is his list of recent puzzles, and you can see on the right here, the ratings are off the charts good. Every puzzle he does is incredible. This is what we can see. Now, the puzzle that we're going to look at today is this one at the top, Confetti Sums Killer Sudoku. It's only been solved 5 times, and has no rating, but Jesper sent this to us yesterday. I sent it to a tester last night. The tester wrote me an email this morning saying that this could well be the puzzle of the year, and it's only February. Now, I'm not a creature who does well with delayed gratification, so I cannot wait to try this, I'm afraid. It has jumped all queues, and I'm going to do it immediately. And as you can probably tell, I'm reasonably excited about this. So I'll just tell you that before I start, have a look over on Patreon. We have all sorts of stuff going on over there. We've got the Solution to Reverend's Puzzle Hunt. That is out. We've got Scott Strossal's Sudoku challenge, we've got Tantan Dai explaining Sudoku, and we've of course 3 more sleeps until the 1st of March when we will release a brand new Sudoku hunt for you. So this is a good time to join us over there. But with that, let us look at this one. What are the rules? Now, normal Sudoku rules apply. In cages, digits must sum to the small number in the top left corner of the cage if given. Which, right, okay. So I think we've got 3 cages with given numbers in the top left and maybe 3 cages with no given number. So, yeah, digits in cages may not repeat. Thank goodness for that. Otherwise, I wasn't sure what these cages were doing. So these are 8-cell cages, each one of these. And all we know about them, we don't know the total, but we know that there's no repeated digit in there. Now, here is a knowledge bomb from Cracking the Cryptic. There are 9 different digits in a Sudoku, the numbers 1 to 9. So each of these cages is missing exactly 1 digit, but we don't know what that digit is. So, what else? Now, the next part of the instructions is in bold, so presumably we have to pay careful attention. It says, in all cases where 2 orthogonally adjacent digits sum to A or B, a dot is shown between them. A white dot always sums to A. Okay, so these dominoes always sum to A. A black dot always sums to B. Okay. And a grey dot means the sum is A or B. Okay, we've got 3 of those. A and B are different, and finding their values is part of the puzzle. Right. Okay. And presumably the in all cases thing is telling us a negative constraint applies, which means that we're going to have to be careful. So imagine we found out that a white dot was 5. Imagine this was a 1-4 pair. That would mean we couldn't have this existing anywhere in the grid, because this adds to 5 as well and should have a white dot but doesn't. So we're going to have to pay careful attention to that, I imagine, especially as at first blush this puzzle looks bereft of information in terms of solvability. But do have a go. The way to play, how often is it that you get a puzzle this exciting? Not often, so have a go. The way to play is to click the link under the video as usual. Now I get to play. Let's get cracking. Yeah, and as I was just saying, there is not much here, is there? We've got 3 cages with numbers and some dots we don't know the value of, some cages we don't know the value of, and that's all. That is, I mean, these cage totals as well are actually not that helpful. 10s and 11s, they do not feel like they are going to be the Holy Grail, do they? So, well, I can see that these 10 cages impact this cage a little bit, in the sense that any digit that repeats in the 10 cage can't go in this cage. Yeah, okay, so there is a tiny deduction you can make from that. You can't have 2 repeated digits in the 10 cages, because if these 10 cages, well, I suppose they're 3-cell cages, so if they have 2 repeated digits, they'll actually have 3 repeated digits. But it's enough just to rule out 2 repeated digits. Imagine this was a 1, 2 and this was a 1, 2. That breaks this cage, because this cage has 8 digits in it, 8 different digits in it. So if we were to remove its ability to contain 1 and 2, there would only be 7 more digits we could select from to fill these 8 different cells, and that's not going to be possible. So these, we can't be overzealous with how many of these cells repeat. But that doesn't seem to be enough, does it? So you can't have too many digits there. Ah, I see. Oh, that's lovely. That's absolutely lovely. Right, okay. So here is a different question. How many... Is it possible there are no repeated digits in these yellow cells? Well, the answer to that is clearly no. You can't. These can't all be different, because that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 as a minimum, and that's a triangular number. It's 21. That is definitely higher than 10 plus 10. So there is a repeated digit. In fact, that's exactly what we're learning. There is exactly 1 repeated digit, because there can't be 2 repeated digits, or you break this cage. And if there's not 1 repeated digit, you break the combined total. So there is 1 repeating digit in these 10 cages, and whatever that is cannot go in this cage. And I accept I have actually pencil marked nothing in the grid so far. But I think we have at least learned something. So there is 1 repeated digit in these cages. But there are a lot of ways of making 10 in 3 digits. You can do 127, 136, 145, 235. Yeah. So 4 different ways. We know these aren't the same, obviously, because that totally breaks this. So how do we bring the 11 into this? 11 and 10 is 21. So are we supposed to know that these or these are all different? Is that what we're supposed to know? I'm not sure. These. Oh, good grief. That is, I mean, it's just beautiful. The logic here is beautiful. It almost makes me want to cry. That is absolutely incredible. You can't, this is just ridiculous. These, there is no repeated digit in these 6 cells. There is no repeated digit. And the reason is that, well, let's ask the question, In fact, let's prove it by contradiction. Let's assume there is a repeated digit. Which is the repeated digit? Well, it's not. You can't repeat a digit in those 5 cells because they're all in the same box as the Sudoku. So the repeating digit is this one and one of those. So let's make this 1 and imagine there's a 1 here. Now we can see that this shape now has no 1 in it. But we said a few minutes ago that the 10 cages have 1 repeated digit in them. But that repeating digit, whatever it is not 1, because 1 can't go in the 10 cage. So there is a digit in this cage that is repeated here that is not 1. So not only can 1 not go in this region, but whatever that repeated digit cannot go in that region, and that means that this region is lacking 2 digits, and that's too many. It can only miss 1 digit. So this is not a repeated digit, and that means that all of these squares are different digits, and they add up to 21. So the only way of making them add up to the right number is if we put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 into them, and that is absolutely stunning. It is stunning logic. I'm actually a bit blown away by that. That is just so beautiful. Now, having said that, trying to get my emotions in check, how do we actually use that to solve the puzzle? Is it doing anything to this? I don't think this one doesn't feel like it's the right one to look at, because these squares in particular are not impacted really by the 11 cage nicely. This one feels like it might be more interesting because the 11 cage affects it. The white dots, look. There's a white dot in the 10 cage and a white dot in the 11 cage. That means that digit has to be 1 less than this digit. So this digit can't be a 1. If it was a 1, you'd have to put 0 in here. That's the most minor deduction ever, isn't it? So maybe this one. This one, there's something going on between these, isn't there, and this one? Because if whatever digit is in here, if it's repeated in the 11 cage, it can't go in this cage. So there's an absolute maximum cap between how many digits in this cage and how many digits in this cage can repeat. Oh, that's it. That's it. It's as simple as that. That is absolutely extraordinary. It's as simple as that. There is, you cannot have 2 digits in here that repeat in the 11 cage. And that's all we need to know. Because if we know that there's 1 repeated digit here, what's the best way of showing it? Oh, I can colour. That's the way I'm going to show this. I will do purple here. I'll do purple there. And then I will do, let's imagine that's purple. This is just for the sake of exposition. Now, so I know that there is 1 repeated digit in the 10s. I'm just saying that that's the purple digit. It doesn't matter which digit it is, but let's imagine it's the purple one. Now, let's make these 2 squares green. Now, if there are 2 repeated digits, we know there are no more shared digits between the 10s. So what about these 2 greens? Could they both be in the 11 cage? Well, they can't be here because they're in the same row of the Sudoku. So to be in the 11 cage, they would have to be there. But now, you can't put those 2 cells anywhere in this cage. There are 8 cells in this cage. There there are 2 digits now, the 2 green digits that definitely cannot appear in this 8-cell cage, so the puzzle is broken. So you cannot repeat 2 digits in the 10 cage. So that the 11 cage and this 10 cage share a maximum of 1 digit. So let's get rid of that one, get rid of that one. So if this 10 cage can have 1 digit from here and 1 digit from here, maximum, it needs another digit, a digit that is not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6. Well, what should we put in there then? The only digit that we can use is 7, because 8 or 9 will most certainly break the 10 cage. So this all proves that this 10 cage is 127. And it proves that there must be, so one of these digits, yeah, so there must be a repeated digit in fact in the 11 cage, because if there wasn't a repeated digit between these 2 cages, this would need to have e.g. a 7 and an 8 and it would break the 10 cage. So there must be 1 repeated digit in the 11 cage and 1 repeated digit in the 10 cage, and that digit is a 1 or a 2. So there's, right, sorry, and I know I'm probably driving everybody mad here, but I'm just trying to get my head around this. So now this yellow region is missing a 1 or a 2 depending on which repeated digit is in the 10 cages, and this region is missing a 1 or 2 depending on what is repeated in those 2 cages. And I can get rid of those colours, and that's not a 2. And that feels like, well, I mean, it's absolutely extraordinary. Extraordinary setting. Look at what he's done there. He's done this with a 10, a 10 and 11 cage and 2 8 cages. That's it. We haven't used anything else. But from that, we've been able to deduce that this must be a 127 cage. Now I'm tempted to look at this white domino. Yes, the white domino can't be a 1-2 pair. If it's a 1-2 pair, well, there's many reasons it breaks, but you can't put a 1-2 pair here, because that means there's no shared digit between the 2 10 cages, and we know there must be 1 shared digit between the 2 10 cages, or the 2 10 cages should add up to more than 20, which they don't. So this, but also, of course, you can't put 8 in here. That's another reason that won't work. So all of this is a very long-winded way of saying there's a 7 in one of those squares, which means that we are honing in on the value of the white dot. The white dot is now either 8 or 9. So that means, so it's 11 cage, right. Yes. So this, we actually know what it is then. If it's 8 or 9, it can't be 9. I can't make that add up to 9, because this would have to be a 2 and it will clash. You can already see it can't be a 2. So it must be 8. And if it must be 8, 8 plus what equals 11? That's a 3. This must be 1 less. That's 2. This is a 1-7 pair. That means something. Yeah, hang on. This has to add up to 8 without being 3, 5. So it must be 2, 6 because it can't be 1, 7. So this is a 2, 6 pair. This is not 2, 6. All these cells are different. We know that from the logic we did earlier. So there's no 3 in here. This is 1, 4, 5. So the white dot is adding up to 8. The black dot we still don't know. This white dot, this white dot must add up to 8, and it can't be 1, 7 or 3, 5, so that's 2, 6. Alright, okay, so now let's just take stock for a second, because we now know what the missing digit is from this shape. This shape cannot have a 2 in it. And we know this shape cannot have a 1 in it, because the 1s are all seeing. So this shape... Yeah, okay, so let's look at this shape and ask where the 3 and the 7 that we know have to be in it, where do they go in the shape? In fact, we can place the 3. The 3 can only go there. So that must be 3, and then the 7 must go here, because it can't go in those squares. So we now know what these squares are. These are everything other than 1, 2, 3, 6 and 7. So this is 4, 5, 8 and 9, I think. That's not 4 or 5 because of the 1, 4, 5 triple here. This square's a 6 by Sudoku. The 6 sees the 2 by Sudoku. That gives us another digit. The black dots become a little bit more restricted. 6, 2. This square at the bottom of the column, look, that's got to be an 8 or a 9. Now this one, what was this? This was missing a 2, so it's got every other digit in it. So 7 must be in one of those 3 squares, using the power of this 7. Getting a bit stuck now. I have to crack this now, though. This needs to be seen. These squares in box 2, they've got to be 3, 7, 8 and 9. That's not 3. That's not 7. See, sorry, that's not 7. It sees the 7 down there. So this is 8 or 9. This is missing 2. Ah, yeah, okay. Look at these squares. Other than the 2 in these squares, whatever's in these 3, well, whatever is not 2 of these squares, let's imagine it's this one, is 6. We've got 3, 6, and whatever's in that one have to appear in those 3 squares there, because they can't appear down here, but they must appear in this cage. So these cells here must be made up of 3, 6, 8 or 9. And that gives us a 4, 5 pair in box 5, look, because there must be a 4, 5 in those positions, which means there's a 4, 5 in these positions. These squares have got to be from 1, 8 and 9 now to complete this box. And what does that mean? Something very obscure, no doubt. Right, there's a nice bit of logic here we can do on this square. Because where do 8 and 9 go in box 4? And the answer is I haven't got a Scooby-Doo. They go somewhere, but in particular they go in 2 of these 6 cells. But these 6 cells all see that cell, either through the medium of Sudoku, i.e. being in the same row, or through being in the same cage. So it doesn't matter where the 8 and the 9 go in here. They rule an 8 out and 9 out of that square. So that square's a 1. That's not actually done very much for us, I don't think. How do we get further in the puzzle? Don't stop now. There's got to be a 1. Oh, 1s and 2s, look, have got to be in these 3 squares. Oh, I tell you what I mustn't forget, the negative constraint. 8. 8 is the magic number now. This can't be a 1 because it would go next to a 7 and that would make an 8 total. So we can remove 1 from here. Oh, I've got to check that actually. Have I left a load of opportunities for 8s in the grid? Yes, of course I have. This square can't be a 5 because that domino would add up to 8 and it would need a white dot, and there is no white dot, so that's a 4, that's a 5. Oh. Well, it's not done a great deal for us, but at least it was a small breakthrough. Okay. 2, 6 here. So this column still needs 5, 7, 8, and 9. Oh, I see. So we've got like a quadruple in this column. So these squares have got to be 1, 2, and 4. Right, let's use the negative constraint. That can't be a 2 because it would be next to a 6. Okay, what do we do now? I feel like I've done some incredible stuff already, and it's certainly not pushed the puzzle over, has it? Can we do anything with this box down here? We've got lots of dots in it, but we only know the value of this dot. I suppose we know the value of this dot. What can this be? 8. So that's 3, 5, 6, or 7. So this is 3, 5, 1, or 2. This can't be 5 because there must be a 5 in one of those cells. So we can remove the 5 and the 3. Okay, I'm stuck. This cage here, look, that's got 5. Oh, yeah, look, that's got 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 in it. So these two squares have got to be from 1, 2, and 4. Don't think we can do anything with that. Even with the negative constraint, this is not helping us. So it feels like probably I've got to look at this black dot. Is there some restriction we can get from this? If this is... Right, okay, yeah. If this is 8, 1, that doesn't work because that would be saying that black dots add up to 9 and that adds up to 9 and there's no black dot. So it's not 8, 1. 8, 4 doesn't work. 8, 4 doesn't work. That's 5, 7, which adds up to 12. So this would need a black dot. So 8, 5, 13. 8, 5, 13. Is there a domino here that adds up to 13? Please. Also, if that's an 8, that's a 9. So is there a domino here that adds up to the... Oh, nearly. If that's a 4, we can rule it out. Bobbins. I don't think we can. Right. Okay. So if this is 8, this can't be 1 or 4. If this is 9, let's look at that. If this is 9... Oh, this is... It's just brilliant. Look, if this is 9... 1 and 4 also get removed from here because this is an 8. That being an 8 now creates a 10 domino and a 13 domino. But this being a 9 means this, if this went with 1 or 4, it would need, obviously 1 plus 9 is 10, ruled out by that. 9 plus 4 is 13, ruled out by that. So this is never, this is the point. This is the point. Whether this is 8 or 9, this is not 1 or 4. This is 5. That's not 3, therefore, because that would create an 8 domino. The black domino is now 13 or 14 for certain. Oh, this is just... It keeps giving. Now, can this be 8 or 9? And we can use the negative constraint to say, no, it can't be. Because if this is 8 or 9, where does 8 and 9 go in box 5? If this is 8 or 9, this has to be the same digit. Which means this domino, which has a black dot, should have the same... It should have a black dot between these two squares as well, but there isn't one. So it's not possible for these digits to be the same. And if they can't be the same, this is going to have to be a 7. So we can get rid of 7 up there. And now, oh, Now this domino adds to 13 and there is no black dot. So how can this be an 8? It can't be, because that would be establishing that 13 is the black dot number, but that's telling us it's not. So this is 9. 9 comes out of here. This is 8. 8 comes out of there. This is 8. No 8 down here now. 8 must be in there along with 3 and 6, so we can take 9 out of there. These squares are now 4, 5 and 9, which means these squares are 3, 6 and 7. That can't be 6 because of the negative constraint with the 8. Oh, actually that's a good point. We now know that the black dot adds up to 14. So anywhere that we can create 14, we mustn't do... Right, this square can't be next to a 6, because that would be 14 and it would need a black dot. So this is a 2, this is a 6. Yeah, look at this. 5, 7 and 9. The 7 is going to have to play gooseberry down here. It's going to have to keep the 5 and the 9 apart. Otherwise, there should be a black dot in this run of digits, and there isn't. So that square is going to have to be the 7. We can get rid of the 7 from the other positions. 6. This 5, 9, of course, that means that's an 8, which I could have got from that one straight away had I scanned to the bottom of the grid. No comments, please. 3, 6 and 8. Well, the 3 is going to have to be the gooseberry this time. Keep the 6 and the 8 apart. 4, 5 and 9. 5 and 9 still add up to 14. The 4 will have to keep them apart. I mean, it is absolutely baffling to me how much value Jesper has been able to extract from this negative constraint off the back of that opening. I mean, it's just incredible. 1, 2 and 9 here. Right, so let's study it. What have we got now? Have we got more? Yes, 9 can't go next to 5, ever. Can't see any others now. Not saying they're not there, I'm just saying I'm not seeing them. We've got... Oh, this domino now adds up to 14, so it's either 5, 9 or 6, 8. 8's not there. And these... Right, these dominoes add up to 8 or 14 as well. So if one of these was a 14, you'd have 2 14s, which would take up the 5, 6, 8 and 9 out of the box. Which would mean the other domino would have to 5, 6, 8 and 9. It would have to be an 8 domino and would have to be a 1, 7. That might be possible. The other situation would be that these 2 dominoes are both 8 dominoes, and the only thing we'd have to be careful about there would be ruling out all the ways of making 14 here. So, 8's 4. Oh, I know one thing we can say. Where does 4 go in the box? 4 can never be on a domino, because either it would have to be double 4 to make 8, which won't work, or it has to be 4 plus 10 to make 14, which also won't work. So 4, we're going to get this digit. 4 can't be here. 4 has to be, sorry, off the domino, so this has to be a 1. This is not 1. Those are not 1. We could have got rid of 1 from here, actually, because of the 7 here. I just didn't spot it, because that would have required a white dot. So So, what can we say about this? If this is 2, then the 6, which has to be the 6 here, is forcing a 6 onto a domino. If this is a 2, the 6 would have to go with an 8 because it couldn't go with a 2 anymore. So this is 5. This would have to be a 6-8 pair. Oh, that's the point. That's the point. This can't be 5. This can't... that's really clever, actually. Let's look at this. If this is 5, why is the puzzle broken? Well, it's to do with this box and the dominoes. Because there are 2 digits. Where do we now put the 9 in this box? We can't put a 9 on a domino anymore, so it's going to have to go in here with the 4. So this duo now is a 4-9 pair. But now we've got the problem, we've got to put 3 somewhere in this box. And 3 also can never make 14, you can never add 11 to it, so you need to use the 5 on the domino to make the 3 as well. So we'd end up with a situation where these 2 cells had to contain 3 digits that could not be on dominoes. And that won't work. So this square I think has to be 2. This therefore is 6. 6 fixes this domino. Look, that's now got to be 5 and 9. That gives us a pair here. Oh, this is important though. Because now 6 is on a domino and can't use a 2. So 6 is placed in the box. Where do you put 6 in the box? You can't put it in those squares because that will put an 8 beneath it and the 8 will clash. So it's got to be in one of those 2 squares, and it can't be here because that would require a black dot and there is none. So this square is a 6, this square is an 8. That fixes that. That's not an 8, look. That's not a 5 either. It's from the 5-9 pair. 4-8, actually that gives us a 5. Can't put 5 next to 9 because it would add up to 14. Okay, and now this domino has to add up to 8 because it can't add up to 14 and it can't use 6 and 5. So this is 1, 7, there's a 7 here and we are cooking with gas. 7, 1, 7, 3. We can't put 7 next to 1 or it would require a white dot. Put the 2 in. 5, 9 fixes the 1. Oops, 1, 9. This domino is this is a 3-4 pair, and there's a 3 here. So that's 3, that's 4, that's 4, that's 8. We can probably fix some stuff down here, but I can't immediately see how to do it. Let's do these. We've got, what do we need up here? We need 2, 5, and 6. That's a 2 then. There's a 5, 6 in the row. And what's more, look, this is a 5-6 pair, but we can't put the 6 next to the 2 because that will break the rules again. So the 5, 2 go in. That rules 2 out of those cells. Oh, hang on. 5 and 6 go in, I wanted to say. Why did I put 5 and 2 in? 5, 6 go in. I'm glad I spotted that because that actually would have totally broken me. It would have given me 3 cells in the row that all had to be 1s and 4s. These squares have got to be 1, 4, 9. And we can rule out 9 from this one because of the 5 it would be next to. 9 from this one because of the 5 it would be next to. We get the 9, we get the 9, we get the 3. We've got a 1, 2, 4 triple. So this row still needs 5 and 7. And the 5 can't go here. So that's 7, that's 5. Can't go there because of this 5-9 pair. These 2 squares are 3 and 8. I'm sure that's resolved somehow. I just can't see how. No, sorry, I'm not spotting that. This... I've still not used this grey cell. Yeah, lovely. This grey cell cannot be 1, 7 because of this 1, 4 pair, 2, 6 or 3, 5. So it's adding up to 14 and it can't be 5, 9. So that's a 6, 8 pair, which means that's a 3, that's an 8. This square by Sudoku's got to be a 7 now. That fixes the 7 and the 1. This is not 1 anymore. 7's got to go here by Sudoku. This row, look, it's not had 5 and 9 in it yet. And there's no dots. So the 5 and 9 have to be chaperoned and kept apart. So this must be a 5, 9 pair, and this must be the other digit, which is an 8. That fixes the 8 and the 6. The 8 and the 6. 6 goes here. I've not put 2 in this box yet. And I can't put 2 next to the 6. There are no dots. And there's a 2 there. So I think that cell has got to be a 2 using the negative constraint. I do hope I've not made a mistake on that, but that feels like the right logic. 3 and 1 to complete this row. That 1 locks a 1 out of there. So this is 2, 4, which means that's 1, that's 4, that's 4, that's 1. These squares are 1, 3 and 9. 1 must go here, 3 must go here, 9 goes here, 5 goes here. This 5 fixes this 5 and 9. I was just wondering how that was going to work. This is a 9, 9, 5, 9, 5, 4, 2, 4. Check. Yes. What a puzzle. What a puzzle that is. That is absolutely ridiculously clever. The logic that Jesper incorporated using these 3 cages, I will never forget it. That is absolutely wonderful. Oh, good. It is absolutely wonderful. Let me know, please. I really hope you tried the puzzle. Let me know in the comments how you got on with it. Let me know if you see this as a thing of beauty as I do. And I look forward to reading the feedback. I really do. And Jesper, you have created something really sensational. Thank you so much for sending it to us. And we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.